the dawn in the battle's chill. Flags unfurled, we march uphill. Hearts like fire, unbreakable will. Voices united, echoing still. For freedom we stand and are unmet. This long and struggle our spirits set. Hands clasped, time, strength unspent. In unity we find our lament. Under starry skies our dreams ignite. Facing the dark with fearless light. Though shadows fall, they cannot light a love for land, our fighting might. For freedom we stand and are unmet. The storm and struggle our spirits set. Hands clasped, tight, strength unspent. In unity we find our lament. Under starry skies our dreams ignite. Facing the dark with fearless light. Though shadows fall, they cannot light a love for land, our fighting might.
So, now we're about to get into this, dude. This video is fucking insane. I just watched it last night, right? The dude who did this video, his name is Tyler Oliveira, right? He has like 7 million subscribers on YouTube, right? I'm not trying to jack his content or anything like that, right? But I'm giving a reaction, dude. This was fucking insane. And watch what white liberals do in this fucking video. This is insane. Like, listen to it. Let's just listen to it. Oh my god, dude. Fucking insane.
God hates white people. He created them to be hated. Like, white people are a virus. The only way to get rid of it is the medicine. Real niggas are the medicine.
You got a whip right here.
Nah, yeah, this for you. When I see a white baby, I be like, he's gonna try to enslave my people when he gets older. The only thing that a white person could give me is their life. The men and the women who profited off of our slavery, they're going to bow at our feet.
You'll kiss this boot right here.
Y'all see that? They're making a white man kiss their boots. These liberals.
These are the Black Hebrew Israelites, a black supremacist group that hates white people and believes that they're the true Israelites.
So there you go, right? Hate groups, supremacist groups are not unique to white people. There are supremacist groups for every group of people on fucking planet Earth, right? And we're going to get more into this, right? Because these dudes are fucking, they have no logic behind this movement whatsoever, right? No logic whatsoever, right? Oh, dude.
Oh, I would tell you, I really hate white people. I would tell you that.
But what other groups besides whites do they hate?
The dark race is the so-called African, who you would call the Nigerian, the Rwandan, the South.
They literally believe, right, that sub-Saharan Africans are dogs, right? That's what this group is saying, right?
African. They are not our people.
And do these beliefs actually come from the Bible? I met up with Captain Tazariak and his brothers mid-training session in Harlem, New York to learn more.
What you see over there is you see what we call Hebrew Academy. So this is a physical training and mental and spiritual training that we do every year where we take new members, we train them. So they're going to go through physical training, self-defense, spiritual training, learning scriptures.
Okay, real quick.
Dude, I gotta say though, shout out to this fucking dude because he's out here in Harlem, New York, right? Look at what he's wearing. There's motherfucking snow on the ground, man. Like, look at what he's wearing. He's adapted.
Any questions, Miss?
No, I'm just watching. I've seen them before. I just don't know what they do.
What we teach is that the true children of the Bible are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
So y'all heard that, right? He's saying that the true children of the Bible are blacks, Hispanics, right? Which Hispanics is a modern day derivative of people who have descended from people who speak Spanish, right? So Hispanics, predominantly what we refer to as Hispanic people, right? They're Spain. They are the Spanish. How do you become Hispanic? Is because Spain colonized your region of the world and raped and subjugated your people, and now you speak Spanish. But you are not a Spaniard, you are a Hispanic because you are the product, right? Like modern day Mexicans are literally the descendants of rape between the Spaniards and the Aztecs. Right? That's what the Mexican people are. They are a Hispanic people. They are not the Aztecs, they are not the Spaniards, right? They're an offshoot. So he is literally saying that offshoots of people that were on some other side of the world, not involved in that region whatsoever, are the true children of God and descendants of he gets into it of the tribes of Israel, right?
So we come out here to train these new members in our school.
Sounds good to me. I'm out here doing kind of the same thing.
There's one catch.
We believe that white people are probably the worst thing to ever happen to black people.
Well, I can understand.
You see how she just did that, right? Like this is a liberal, a white liberal woman in Harlem, in New York. White people are not the worst thing to ever happen to fucking black people, right? Like that's an insane take. That would be like white people. That's like white people saying that black people are the worst thing to happen to white people. No, it's not. It's been a push and a pull, man. There's been bad shit that black people have done to white people, and there's been bad shit that white people have done to black people. Now they want to shrink the lens down to America, right? Do y'all know what the Barbary Wars were over? The Barbary Wars were over the Barbary nations of Northern Africa taking white slaves and attacking like European and American naval vessels, right? Like pirates. They were pirating European vessels and then taking white people's slaves, right? Like look, people all over the world, no matter who they are, have done fucked up shit to other groups of people. Period. It's not unique to fucking white people, and it's insane to think that it's unique to white people. White culture is one like, and guess what? This is an argument of people on the left why they argue that white culture's bad, right? Because they're saying it's a more recent, like it doesn't have enough history behind it, right? This is why they say we don't have food or culture or anything like that, because we don't have history behind it. Well, if we don't have history behind white culture, what you're saying is that we are cultures that have started to show up later in human history. That means we have less human history of atrocities than the rest of human nature, right? Than the rest of all the other fucking humans on planet Earth.
What are your plans for her and her kind?
It's not really our plans, it's God's plan. According to the Bible, God is going to avenge black people for what white people did, so they go enslaved. You know, they got to be in chains, they got to build our kingdom, they got to serve out the judgment for touching God's people.
How you doing? What are your thoughts on the Black Hebrew Israelites?
I would need to know more about it.
Can you give her a quick synopsis of what you believe in?
Of course, you know Jesus Christ is black, right?
I don't know much about, to tell you the truth.
I just want to let y'all know, Jesus Christ was not black. The people around the Levant, the people around the Mediterranean are historically not black at all. They are actually white, right? Like the Spaniards are white. The Italians are white. The Greeks are white. Not white as in like Northern European, right? But they're olive skinned. But they are actually light. Sorry, let's not say white or black. They are lighter skinned, right? Like my wife is whiter than me and she's Egyptian, right? They are lighter skinned. They are not dark by any stretch of the imagination. And now predominantly a lot of people throughout northern Africa in the Middle East, they are brown because of the Arab conquest of those regions, right? And the establishment of that. But historically speaking, they were light skinned. They are referred to as olive skinned, right? And this is probably why olives are such a huge thing from the Mediterranean Sea, is because the people around there were olive skinned. Okay, they are not black. Sure, you can say they're not white, but they're not black, right? Like, in the fact of the matter is that Jesus was light skinned. It's the simple fact of the matter, right? But my wife is light skinned, but she's not like so. I guess there's variations of being light skinned, right? What most people refer to when you're light skinned is they think of someone who has a mixture between black and white. They're a descendant of black and white, right? So then they're light skinned. That's not the light skin we're talking about, right? Because that didn't exist around the Mediterranean.
The Bible, I do know that people are being persecuted and have been for a long time. It's the patriarchy in this country and in many other Western countries that are discriminating, and I'm happy when people are standing up for educating other people and helping us understand.
This is a very compassionate answer. At some point, though, you will be in chains and enslaved, apparently. What are your thoughts on that?
If you lead the people into slavery and destroy their identity, shouldn't there be a punishment for those people who do it?
Yes.
Is he a brother? If he's...
And see, that's feasible, right? We all agree with that, right? If you enslave someone, you should have to pay for that. You, the person who did the enslaving.
País de origen. Spanish count or no?
Conquistadors. We're indigenous. That's European, right?
Oh, man. Okay.
They're the ones who conquered the natives.
That's what I'm saying. They could kiss the boot.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm not so sure that I myself should take responsibility other than helping the legacy of what white people did to dark people.
She said, I'm going to help the legacy of what white people did. You know what that means? That's Trump.
No. Help erase that legacy.
He's trying to set you up.
Don't give me a hard time here.
I know that we haven't done right by Native Americans, by people of color from many places we call this country.
You said we. What did you do?
We, the people who represent the dominant
You
narrative.
see that? I didn't do shit to anybody in this country. I did not do shit to the previous generations of anyone in this country. My family didn't do shit to anyone in this country, right? That's the issue with progressivism, with liberal ideologies in the US, right? I didn't do shit, right? I didn't do shit. That's insane to sit there and try to claim that I did shit or that my people did some shit. No, my people didn't do shit, right? I don't know what fucking people you're talking about. Those aren't my people.
In this country.
But in the Bible, this will be reasonable to me. It says that the fathers and the women who had slaves, that they would bow to the slaves. In these last days, in these end times, when Christ comes back and rules this earth, a black man by the name of Jesus Christ, the men who led our people into captivity and the women who profited off of our slavery and our blood, they're going to bow at our feet.
You guys, like, dude, look at these fucking...
You're asking her to bow right now?
That's
that
fucking
would be
insane.
reasonable. Like, if you were really sorry for what your people did,
If you feel truly bad for what your ancestors did, will you give them $20 right now?
I don't know if that would solve a problem, and my ancestors were dirt poor also.
I would say empty your bank account. When you think about it, we became the financial backing of building America. We became the labor. So when you say money doesn't change it, it does. That's why I said empty your bank account. You should too.
So I mean, I don't get this, right? For a period of time, slavery was used for basically predominantly for agricultural means in the United States, right? I hate this fact. I hate when people, like, it's an argument from Black Americans, right? That they built America. If you want to say that there were aspects, like there were periods, like, y'all contributed, right? But y'all contributed. It wasn't solely you, right? So it's not a fucking excuse to extract wealth from other people that have nothing to do with past transgressions to to sit there and claim that, right? Like the amount, the speck of economic influence that slavery had on the actual economic powerhouse that the United States has always been is just a speck, right? And this isn't me trying to downplay fucking slavery or say that it was okay. It wasn't, right? I don't live in that fucking time though. And it's insane to raise an entire group of people in this country to live in that fucking time. Right? It really is. And you're going to see this fucking hate group actually has more intelligence than leftists, right? And they perfectly highlight the fact that the rise of liberalism in this country and its subjugation of black people, like liberalism, right? Like people who vote for Democrats, is exactly why life has just gotten worse for black Americans, right? We're going to get into it because he brings it up. I don't. He does.
Every white person should empty their bank account.
Would you be willing to maybe give a $100 donation to the cause?
Yeah. Yeah, that,
Like right now on camera?
well, I don't have any.
So notice now China's economic rise to power is due to slavery. Yeah, but it's predominantly enslaving its own people, right? It's exploiting its own people. I mean, so yeah, it is cheap labor, but that's also just the culture of China, right? And then that culture is influenced by all of these external cultures because we want to keep buying cheap shit. So that's exactly why they do it. So like when leftists are advocating for we have to keep buying cheap Chinese shit because it's cheap and it's better for us, it's going to save us money. They're literally advocating for terrible fucking working conditions for the Chinese people, enslavement of the Chinese people, and force by the Chinese Communist Party against the Chinese people. Kind of deal. But you notice how only in the United States is it okay to say that because some white people did some bad things, we then can judge the entirety of all of white people through forever. Forever, we all just label them as this other kind of bullshit. But then apparently anytime that somebody tries to label another group a certain way because of the actions of other people, it's transphobic or homophobic or Islamophobic or some kind of phobic or racist or sexist or some shit like that, right? Does nobody else see the hypocrisy? And you know why you probably don't actually see the hypocrisy is because you grew up in the liberal education system and they literally taught you a different definition of racism than what racism is. Racism is hating any group of people because of their race or treating them differently because of their race. It has nothing to do with a power structure. Absolutely nothing to do with a power structure. Everybody on planet Earth can be racist. Everybody. It doesn't matter what country you're in. It doesn't matter what time era you're in. Everybody on planet Earth can be racist. It is when you hate or oppress or treat somebody differently based on their race. Okay?
Do you believe in justice?
I do believe in justice.
I do believe in justice.
de este hombre.
I'm in my 70s now. When I die, that money's going to be gone. And it's not going to go to people who are just going to go out and buy lattes and spend it on going out to bars and whatever. It's going to go to cancer causes and causes like yours.
Like black people?
Black people. Doctors Without Borders is a big thing I support.
The first thing that came to my mind was that when she dies, she's going to help black people, not when she's alive.
No, I'm doing it now. I'm giving a huge amount of what I've got every year.
Why should you feel obligated to help black people? Did you enslave anyone?
No, absolutely not. But our society is continuing the discrimination that's based on what happened.
So you notice how that lady is feeding into the narrative of this hate group, right? She is literally enforcing their existence because she's insane, right? This country is not still fucking pushing racism and stuff like that. It is actually pushing racism in the opposite direction, but not against black people, right? Like, I was in the Marine Corps, man. There were a ton of black Marines or Hispanic Marines or Asian Marines or female Marines or any other kind of fucking person in the fucking Marine Corps. It wasn't harder for them to get in the Marine Corps than me. because of their race, right? Yes, in certain part of the countries, people still have prejudices, right? And guess what? And that's all over the country. You go into a black neighborhood as a white person, they don't fucking want you there. They're going to treat you like shit. They're going to do bad things to you. Not all the time, right? But I'm just saying, like, they'll, like, you see interviews, right, where white people try to go into black neighborhoods, they start calling them cracker and tell them, get the fuck out of here before we kill you, or whatever, some shit like that. There are prejudices all across this country. It's not just specific to one racial group or one group, right? That's the point of what I'm saying.
Justice should be done, in my mind, at the time that it happens. And if we don't have a legal system in this country or in all countries to take care of people who commit these kind of crimes when they happen, not the generations that follow, they bear some responsibility, but if they didn't commit murder, then to me, they're not the ones that should be incarcerated.
I agree with her.
Let's just
Yeah, that's actually a logical
Bowed at
take.
Your father's feet, fed your children while your father went off to go conquer America. While my mother was working, we had to tend to your children. Our mothers had to suckle your babies before they suckled our own babies. So it'll
You hear how he phrases it, though. He said his mother, right? His mother wasn't doing shit, right? She wasn't a slave either. And then she says her parents weren't slave owners. They engaged in none of that. But you notice how he is drawing the distinction between race, right?
be reasonable for you to bow at the feet of the slave. That would be reasonable if you was really sorry. You seem like a compassionate person.
I'm a compassionate person, but my apology is, or my way of saying I do not believe what went on in history was fair or just, is my way of saying that I may be with you in some areas, I may not be with you in other areas, but I want to fight for everybody right now, and I do. And
she definitely leans more left than right, obviously, right? With her take on this. Get out. So, right, but she's struggling to hold on to the actual logic of her belief, right? Because she comes off as somebody who she acknowledges the fact that slavery happened. Basically, all Americans will acknowledge the fact that slavery happened. And basically, all Americans will sit there and agree with you that slavery was bad, right? But what she's saying is, if she didn't do it, why should she have to pay the repercussions, right? The consequences.
I stand for that.
Look
My
behind
bow.
Look behind you. That's who fights. We don't need you to fight.
Okay.
But check this out. You just embody, and this is why God is going to put you in slavery. Because your people always try to slither and find ways out of the harsh reality of what was done to us. You know for a fact that your people hung my people from trees. This park right here in Harlem, you know, this is a black community. It's not. It was. It's not anymore. It's not anymore. You want to know why? Because of crack. Because of Ronald Reagan. You understand? So you can't sit here like a poor lily white lady, you know, with your dog and looking hopeless because of what you've done to my people.
That seems a little exaggerated, right? You think that's a little harsh, K2?
I can only tell you that I live my life trying to be good to everybody I'm around, and continue to do. I would.
He's saying you could be the change you want to see, and you could take a bow right now and just show a little gesture.
A bow is a gesture, and I've got a dog that I've got to keep going with. Her name is Curry.
Sit, Curry. Sit. So both of y'all, sit.
She wants to.
Curry is a sweet-looking dog. His people have gotten hung in trees, killed, molested, raped, genocided, and you won't even take a bow is what he's saying.
That doesn't fix lynchings.
But he's saying he'll do a little bit to help him.
That doesn't. You know what? You're trying
It
to
doesn't.
position me.
It doesn't. Like, let's be honest. It doesn't. How would kissing someone's boot or bowing to them, right? How would that ever be any kind of reparation for lynchings, right? Like, and this is her. This is obviously a liberal woman who has bought in too much into the liberal ideologies, right? And now being confronted with the reality of the outcome of the situation that liberals are fabricating in this country about white people against black people, she is dealing with the end result. And it's this black extremist hate group that is now trying to subjugate her and get her to kiss their boots or bow to them, right? And she makes a very qualified point. Like, she makes a legitimate point. right? 100%. She makes a legitimate point. How would that ever make up for lynchings? It doesn't. You know what it is? It's a humiliation tactic, right? It's a form of counter subjugation, right? For previous subjugation. It is a method of current subjugation for previous subjugation. That's what it is.
Positional. Although I may not have the same history of beliefs as you do, I do agree with you that people have done incredible wrongs that land us where we are today. I hope you see that I don't represent some privileged white lady. I am just me.
Not even like a deferential bow before you leave?
Come on. That's a gratuitous, that doesn't mean anything.
But you have a good day.
All right, thank you.
What else would you have liked her to do?
Oh, she was going to kiss our boots.
See?
Have you ever had anyone kiss your boot?
Absolutely, all the time. I didn't expect it about. It just really was a point to show you that even though white people seem like they care about you and seem like they care about the...
So y'all remember how like this woke movement behind supporting black people in the United States, how it started? Y'all remember, right? It started off with wanting acknowledgement for past grievances, right? That's it. They and that's legitimate. Like they just feel, black Americans feel ostracized because of previous events in our country's nation, and they feel like they weren't getting acknowledgement. Now, I disagree that they weren't getting acknowledgement, right? Because I grew up in an education system that taught me about slavery and like certain oppressions that black Americans fucking went through and stuff like that, right? But you know what we really like, so it's like we formally educate people on the oppression of black people in this country, but we don't formally educate people on like any of the other forms of oppression at all, right? Like I never learned like I heard about the Barbary Wars, right? But they never taught the Barbary Wars and what was actually occurring during the Barbary Wars, right? That wasn't shit that was taught, right? So like there is already institutionalized acknowledgement of slavery in this fucking country, hands down, without a doubt, right? But notice how it went from they just wanted acknowledgement to now they want white people to kiss their boot and bow to them. Like, are you insane? Right? Like, are you insane, legitimately?
Hardships that we went through, they really kind of negate it because it's really aimed at them. She
How-
knows without a
So,
shadow of a
so how is it negating the hardships that black Americans went through? Not black people, black Americans went through, to have somebody who is so far removed from the issue of slavery and never engaged in enslaving people. How is it negating that because they don't want to bow to you or kiss your fucking boot, right?
down of what other crimes some people did to us.
But she didn't do anything. That's the big disconnect. She didn't do anything. Just like you didn't go through slavery. Right. What are your thoughts as you walk away?
I hope it helps.
Even if it means you are eventually enslaved.
I don't think it'll come to that, but
It will though, right?
Yeah, see how he laughs?
God
See how he
said,
laughs?
leadeth into captivity,
Right?
shall go into
Because
captivity.
she is a dumbass old white liberal woman, right? I don't think it'll come to that. And then he literally laughs and he's about to tell her it's coming to that.
Yeah, killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Is that a little harsh?
yeah, but I don't think we can actually argue it and say what's going to actually happen. It could be symbolic as well as literal, I think.
No, this is literal.
Hit, boom,
Straight up telling her, right?
hit, bang, boom, bang. Ugh. This is what we call my department. I'm responsible for the Hebrew Academy. What these men are going through back here is something that all our men have gone through, all the brothers have gone through, including the head of our school, Commander Junior Honor. You see these covers that we're wearing, this all represents the trial by fire that we go through out here to kind of bond us all together.
So these are all different training techniques. So now they're using mitts like you were trained in boxing. So they're using mitts to learn.
I want to go over something, right? When groups of white people in this country do shit like this, the FBI, the CIA, the federal government, they infiltrate these groups and they start killing these people or throwing them in prison or labeling them as terrorists and using it as an excuse to do other shit for them. Rightfully so, right? Like, I personally believe the KKK needs to be labeled as a terrorist organization. The the Black Hebrew Israelites needs to be labeled as a terrorist organization, and we need to eradicate them from our society, right? They have no place in American culture, right? I do not accept either of those fucking groups. I never have, right? I'm not just saying, oh, we should get rid of the KKK because now there's the Black Hebrew Israelites. No, that's something I've had a belief in for a very long time, of getting rid of the fucking KKK. They are an extremist hate terrorist organization, right? Like, they're an extremist hate group that resorts to acts of terrorism to try to spread their ideologies, right? That's being a terrorist. And so, but this is what I'm saying. These dudes are just openly in the middle of a park in New York, in Harlem, right? Doing this shit with no fucking no altercation, no investigations, nothing, right? And that's an issue. I think that's an issue. They're literally talking. They are talking about being physical, right? Militant, and they're training out in public. And where are all the call outs on that, right?
Punch and then slip. So this is, again, the hand-to-hand combat training that we train brothers in the school so that they could defend themselves.
Fist up right here. Go. But this is just a portion of the brothers that's in the academy. We have brothers in Texas, South Texas right now. We have brothers in Chicago, brothers in Florida, brothers in Atlanta, Georgia. We even have a brother out in the Bahamas. They're actually doing what we're doing right now all over the country. So this is what bonds us together, their language, which is Hebrew, and we also teach them the biblical martial arts, which is called the Yad Karab. It's what King David used, it's what Samson used, and people don't know this. This is what Christ used as well. People think Christ was some old, just peaceful Gandhi type cat. Yeah. But Christ was a superior revolutionary. You understand? And the men around him were fighters.
I know that, yeah. What are the qualifications needed to become a Black Hebrew Israelite?
When you say recruits, we don't have recruits. Christ said this, my sheep hear my voice. These men found us. I found Commander Jerry Yohana.
How did you find him?
By hearing his voice. I seen the camp out on the street. Brothers come and hear what's being said, hearing that the true biblical Jews are black, hearing that Christ died for only blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, that the 12 lost tribes of Israel are the people who are despaired and trodden on in this country that you call America.
You have to be a certain percentile of black or Hispanic or Native American to join the Black Hebrew Israelites?
We go by who your father is, by blood. That percentile and all that, it comes from the so-called white man society. I mean, how do you know what percentile black I am?
I don't know.
Like, even just thinking about it doesn't make any sense. Let's say, for instance, like Bob Marley. He's a white man like you. Yeah, because his father is white. Your father is white, correct?
Yeah, he's Portuguese.
He's white. Bob Marley is your brother, not mine. My father.
Bob Marley, my man.
Oh, I mean, you can have him. But when it comes to nationality, the Bible always traces the lineage of the man. So if your father is a black man, a Negro, you understand, you're from the tribe of Judah. If your father is a Mexican, he is an Israelite from the tribe of Issachar. They are brothers.
Who is the dog race?
The dog race is the so-called African, who you would call the Nigerian or the Rwandan or the South Africans. Those are considered Africans, but they are not our people.
The Nigeria.
So you notice what he just said about black people. He is a black man who is claiming to be a Black Hebrew Israelite, saying that black people, right, basically from sub-Saharan Africa, where black people originate from, are a dog race that are not his people. What? What simulation are we fucking living in? Right? What kind of, like, and you know, granted, I can understand where he's coming from, right? Because it's like French or white people, but they're not my people, right? I don't associate based off of my race. I associate based off my nationality, right? So if you're an American, you're my people. I don't fucking care, right? Kind of deal. Most people do associate based off their race, but it's like they make the race so fucking broad, it doesn't make any sense, right? Like, a lot of black Americans like to sit there and claim that all black people are their people. But when you go talk to like other Africans and shit like that, they don't give a fuck about black Americans. Those aren't their people. Just like what this guy is saying. He's a black American saying that other black nations or black people are not his fucking people, which is still This is why I'm asking what fucking simulation we're living in, because I don't understand where the fuck he's getting his whole logical understanding of shit, right? Because if you are black, you originated from the heartland of Africa. And then people migrated over time to other areas of the world, and then that's why you have black people in other areas. So if he's claiming that black people are in fact they're black people are the ones who compose the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Then you're admitting that you originated out of somewhere else and stole land or took land that wasn't yours. Like, this is what I'm saying. There's no fucking logic to it. It's insane, right? It's fucking insane. How can you say that Hispanic people, which are a derivative of Spanish people, are the people of the original 12 tribes of Israel, along with black people and Native Americans? The math ain't fucking mathin', right? I don't understand.
Syrian couldn't come here and be a brother?
No.
Ethiopian?
No.
Kenyan?
Nope.
None of them? Damn, okay.
The man who calls himself a Jew is a red man.
And I just want to point out, right? Because later in this video, they bring up Haitians, like they're real brothers, right? Those were black people bought by Europeans to Haiti. And then eventually intermixed with local populace of Haiti. And now you have the Haitians, right? They weren't one of the lost tribes of Israel.
Man, his blood show forth through his skin. You could not hide among a dark race of people. You understand? It's just proving that the black man, because we're called African because we were found in the land of Africa, hiding among a dark race.
The seduction is to convince black people that America wants us to be a part of that. The difference between like the Democratic Party, Republican is gonna.
Hey, and this shit that he's about to say about the two parties is true, right? You can take it whatever way you will, but it is the truth.
Say everything to your face. They're gonna do it bluntly. The Democrats is gonna do it.
Republicans are going to say it to your face and do it bluntly, but Democrats are going to...
It's almost like if you take a can of beer, you don't want to drink the full beer, so you get...
You heard him, right? He said that they're going to do it seductively, which is synonymous with they're going to subvert, right? They're going to do things behind your back.
Segregation than the Civil Rights Act. The greatest time that black people had and the greatest threat that we ever were to America was segregated times, during Jim Crow, doing all the things when we was getting lynched and arrested. They incorporated the 13th Amendment so they could falsely lock us up. We still built hospitals, colleges, cities. We had a Negro League. We had all these things. We had education. Then you had the thought process of it's better if we integrate. And so when we decided to integrate, we lost education, we lost family structure, we lost businesses, we lost everything. Now they have this term called black businesses. Back during segregation, it wasn't.
So you heard that, right? This is him starting to correlate the decline of black Americans with the rise of liberalism in the US. Because as we see with like the liberal economic order, right? They have one goal. And that goal is to subjugate everybody under one banner and then basically just use them for their own nefarious means, right? So even this dude who is as delusional as he is, right, is able to tell when things started going south, like actually south, for post-slavery, right? When things started going actually south for black Americans where they can't get a leg up, right? They're struggling, stuff like that, correlates with the rise of liberalism and the power structure of the Democrat Party, and then having fucking black people vote Democrat.
About black business because we knew what businesses we were supporting. There was no mantra of separate from white people. We just was building our own. And that became the biggest threat because in less than 40 years removed from slavery, we showed America that we don't need you. And America can't have that because if we don't need them,
and look,
we would rise up over.
I won't say everything of what he's saying is true because it's not, but he is actually true that like where you start to see a lot of prominent black inventors and like business individuals and stuff like that in the United States is post-slavery, pre-civil rights. Because they were given the autonomy to like have their areas and do what they want, right? But then liberals wanted to force them into the order under the guise of equality. And then basically, why does that happen? Why do they do that? Because then they have more people to subjugate. They have more people to abuse. Now, I'm not arguing for segregation. I think desegregation was actually beneficial, and I think it's better overall. But this is the problem: is that it's fucked if you do, fucked if you don't. With like liberal ideologies. They've cornered the system for a very long time, and I'll stand by that, right? Like, you're fucked if you do, you're fucked if you don't. If you don't desegregate, you have a bunch of other issues. If you do segregate, you have a bunch of other issues, right? But that's, in either way, you have those issues because of liberalism. That's my point.
Over there.
Do you think white people naturally want segregation as well?
White people just want enslavement. White people want black people and Latinos to know your place. Trump.
So let me just say this, right? They are saying that white people want other people to know their place while they make white people kiss their boots. Do y'all see like groups of white people out on the street claiming to be victims and that they'll rise again, and that they need that black people need to kiss the boots of white people? I don't fucking see that. I don't want black people kissing my boots. I don't want Latino people kissing my boots. I don't want anyone kissing my boots for that fucking matter. That's weird and disgusting, right? We're sanitary around here.
Being in office is the rallying cry for all of those MAGA people to say Trump is going to put black people in their place. White America is loving every single thing that Trump is doing, because he's saying, in their mind, he's saying, you niggas got to act like what we say now.
It's cold, I can't feel my toes. Brothers are out here throwing hands. How long does the training last?
Probably about 6 hours.
6 hours. Damn.
But the point is that the bond that they built today will keep them in the same shape of brotherhood.
I'm loving the Black Hebrew Israelites. I'm going to be honest. I wish I had a white version of this. I want a real cracker university that I could join.
And clearly that's humor for people who don't understand.
Do you guys verify the paternal lineage?
We have a system to be able to tell. If anything's questionable, we'll do our due diligence to, to find out. It's hard for brothers who have white women to be in here.
They're allowed to date white women?
No, they're not allowed to date white women. But when brothers come into the school, they might have a white woman already. It's against the laws of God to put your woman away.
Put her away in what sense?
Or they might have a white mother. A brother might learn the truth and learn that he's an Israelite. Some people have a hard time with that because of how harshly we teach about white people, about the crimes that they've done. That is his mother, though. We would never tell him to kill his mother or anything like that, of course, because that'd be evil and wrong.
When you see like a white person, do you ever have just like...
So I'm so confused by the mentality, right? Because it's like they're literally like they're fighting against their own existence. Like, so I don't, I'm so confused, right? Because it's legitimately, right? Like, no, you can't date a white woman, but if you already had a white, like, God tells, like, they're citing things, they're citing God's words when when they want it to.
like a feeling of disgust, like these bastards.
Well, this is what you got to understand.
Yeah.
We're professionals. Like, I can sit and have a conversation with you all day long.
When I leave, are you like these damn white people?
Not to the extent
Not
that
to
you
a
think.
personalized extent, but just more of a zoomed out group perspective.
Right, because you're one white man, and you might be an all right white guy. We can talk about electrical work. We can talk about football. The game coming on and all of that. We'll never be brothers. You understand? We'll be professional. We'll be cordial. I ain't gonna slam the door in your face because you walk.
Now here's my question. Why couldn't we be brothers? Right? Why couldn't we? Because I'm not the one who sees it through the lens of race, right? Like, I don't care that you're black. Well, why couldn't we be brothers? And his answer is because the other person's white. That's insane.
Behind me, I'm a professional. We ain't the Ku Klux Klan. We ain't going around like, you stupid cracker, I should hang you from a goddamn tree. We ain't the Ku Klux Klan. We professional priests. Well, you just one white
Y'all
man.
aren't priests,
You don't
bro.
make no impact on my life personally. The system of white people is what you're going to pay for. You might have not had slaves, but you are going to pay for what your forefathers did, however.
I think the person who did it should face the punishment, not the child or the child's child.
What if he's dead? What if the person who did it got away scot-free?
It is what it is.
It means his son gonna pay for it. Man, Harlem was one of the most...
Now, imagine someone comes in your house, kills your wife, kills your kids, kills your dogs, and then they die. And then you demand that members of their family are killed for the crime they committed. Right? That's fucking insane, bro. That's insane. Right? Especially because, like, they don't even have a valid argument, right? Because they're not tracing back the family lineage of people who actually own slaves or anything like that, right? They just say all white people. There's a ton of white people on planet Earth. And it was a very few fucking white people in comparison to a total population that owned slaves.
Most blackest cities in New York City. I mean, ridiculous. It was a phenomenon. Now you look at it now. It's integrated. It's completely...
Gentrification or what?
There are no black-owned businesses in Harlem. We already had that. How did we lose it? Through the civil rights. The civil rights failed the black community because they wanted to join white society. We had the white man's water fountain and we had the black man's water fountain. Instead of saying that we're going to make our black water fountain the best water fountain there's ever fountain, our leaders said that we want to drink from the white man's water fountain too. So what happened is he said, okay, you could drink from our water fountain, but you're going to always get water from me. I'm the one that's going to own the water fountain.
Suck the teat of the white man.
Exactly. Now the youth, the men who were children back then, now they coming up, we got to push black businesses, man. We got to push black businesses when the civil rights failed us and gave all of our black businesses to white people. You understand? You see that plane crash that crashed over in Philadelphia?
Oh, yeah.
It was glorious. I was mad as hell because I wanted to go get some chicken. I couldn't even get no chicken.
What do you mean that was glorious?
The Lord took it down. It was glorious.
When you see those planes hitting walls, you're like, hell yeah.
When I see America start to fall, we have a drink.
What?
The brothers have a drink. These are the signs of our King's return. This is a horrible time for your people, but this is a glorious time for us. This is what we've been prophesying about for years. Like, we were on different sides of the fence here.
You see like a school shooting and you hear about a bunch of people getting killed. Are you like, thank God?
Okay, don't think of it like that. Think of more. When America and the sins of America start to rise up, that's how we know we in these end times. The harshality of what happened is not what I'm focused on.
I see.
The impact of what happened to America is what we focus on. How it impact this society. You understand what I'm saying? The war with Russia, what's going on in Ukraine, how it impacts America. All of those things we are paying attention to. You see a school shooting, we always taught that the white man need to be racially profiled because they're the ones that do a lot of the school shooting, don't they?
Where is your land? Like the Gaza Strip? Is that where you guys?
Israel, all in. The nation of Israel, Iraq, Iran.
He doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about. He doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about, right? So, historically speaking, right, the kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Israel, right? We already fucking covered this. Basically covered the now region of Israel. And then there was a little more of Jordan that belonged to Israel. Right? That's it. That's the end of it, right? Like, we can fucking pull it up real quick. Jesus. So you see this? This was the 12 tribes of Israel, right? This right here is the River Jordan. So they had a little bit of Jordan, a tiny little bit of the Sinai Peninsula of Egypt, okay, and then the rest of this was the composition of the 12 tribes of Israel. This is basically the modern day border of Israel, right? So modern day Israel has less land, slightly less land than the historical tribes of Israel. But watch what this guy fucking says, right? And this is Wikipedia again. Terrible place for information typically, but this is the actual regions of the 12 tribes of Israel, right?
The Israel you see on the map, that is not the whole Israel.
So you notice how he's like Jordan, he's like Iraq, Iran, right? So you have Jordan, you have let me use the mouse, right? My bad. Y'all can't see my fucking finger. You got Jordan, right? And we saw that it was kind of like right here of Jordan, right? This is Syria, this is Lebanon, right? Basically none of that. Okay? Over here is Iraq, right? You can't even see it. This is Iraq. And then even fucking further that way, right? Further to the fucking east of Iraq, that's where Iran is, right? Like east, southeast. And then up here is Turkey, right? This dude doesn't know what the fuck. He fundamentally doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's indoctrinated.
According to the Bible, that's just a small piece of what the white man stole and gave to the so-called Israelis that live over there now. You understand? Israel is that whole portion over there, pieces.
Okay, so here you go. You got Turkey, Syria, Iraq, and then you have Iran over here. Right? This is Iran over here. He's trying to say that there was a little bit of this, is all of this apparently. I think he even says parts of Saudi Arabia and shit. Yep, right there.
Iran,
No,
Israel.
he doesn't know shit.
Large piece of land, and it's also called Eden, the Garden of Eden. To build a nation, you gotta build a nation with your sister. You can't build a nation and give your inheritance to another nation.
And so what we decide to do in the ICBK, what a real nigga university is actually teach people what a real nigga is.
What is a real bleeper?
Appreciate that. I thought I was gonna have to say MacGyver watch. In the real nigga university, we show the righteousness that Acts 13:1 portrayed. Niggas are righteous, we honor, we worthy of the Lord, we raise up brothers, we build up family, we don't snitch. We would never sing a song for Donald Trump. We would never hate our Mexican brothers who are also real niggas, our Latin brothers, which are also real niggas, our Haitian brothers, which are also real niggas. So we are the epitome of what Acts 13:1 stood for. Christ being black is the realest nigga. White people are like the worst niggas.
Come on, man.
If you take any society
Oh my God.
and look at their land before white people interacted with them, and then look at the land after white people. Look at Libya. Look at
Hey, you guys see this architecture? You see these vehicles on the road? Right? You see the clothes they're wearing? Wow, what is that? Oh man, that has to do with Britain occupying Libya and passing on these cultural ideologies or technologies, right? This is Libya after Gaddafi wanted to fuck around and find out, right? This is also not the same fucking street. Okay, so this is what's crazy when people make that argument, right? When white culture interacts with another culture, it destroys the culture. Why is everything they're fucking using invented by white people? Except the stoplight. The stoplight was invented by a black man, right? A black American. Thank you very much, right? Like it's complete and total bullshit.
the Middle East. Look at
Oh, here you go. Here you go. Before the USA, right? Huh, man, look at all these vehicles. Huh, Libya, wow. Look at all these beautiful buildings. Clearly not the same pictures, right? Yemen, wow, crazy. Oh, Syria, wow. It's almost like in Yemen right now that a Shia Muslim group called the Houthis is being backed by Iran and Qatar to destroy the country because the government was Sunni led. The previous government was Sunni led. And then this is because of that conflict between Muslims. Libya, wow. It's almost like this is after Libya gets bombed in certain areas, not the entirety of Libya, because of Gaddafi and what Gaddafi was doing. Wow. Iraq after it literally looks almost the exact same, right? But Iraq gets fucked up because of Saddam Hussein, right? So this is what this is what the United States looks like right now. This is what this dude's group wants to do to the United States. But then he says some stupid shit that doesn't make any sense. Syria, it's a Syrian civil war. It's a Yemeni civil war, right? Libya and Iraq, sure. But their nations look like this because of white people before having a war with white people, right? So let's be honest, right? This is a contrast between what your country can look like when you're not hostile towards white people and what your country can look like after you're hostile towards white people. That's just the thing, right? Like, no shit. You can have a prosperous, nice looking country when you're not at war with the most wealthy fucking nation on earth, and or with the most powerful nation on earth. And then this is what your nation looks like when you go to war with the most powerful nation on earth.
Africa, look at North and Central and South America. Like, white people are a virus. When the virus gets in your body, the whole point of the virus is to destroy you. The only way to get rid of it is the medicine. Real niggas are the medicine. So ISUBK is the medicine because we deliver what the Lord says. So if you want to get cured, well, you can't get cured. I don't understand how black men and women can marry a white person knowing the crimes that they committed. And what that tells you is that from the time we are born, we have this thing of white is great and black is not. Which
Okay.
Again,
so that is actually true. And that is an ideology that's pushed by liberals, right? Conservatives, a majority of conservatives don't go around going, white is great, black is bad. But a majority of liberals go around saying black is bad, white is great. And because they think that, they push that narrative and then people believe it, right? People on the right, we don't fucking care. We don't think about that. You're great because of the actions you do, not because of the color of your skin. But liberals legitimately think that black is oppressed because they're black. So then black people in the United States post-civil rights have been raised because of liberal ideologies to believe that all of their suffering is because of white people and it's because they're black and everything they do is because they're black and it's not good enough and it'll never be good enough. But before civil rights, before liberal fucking ideologies are being injected into the black community, they're striving for greatness. They believe in merit. They're making technological innovations and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure peanut butter was made by a black man, right? Peanut butter is fucking amazing. Okay, but you see what I'm saying, right? Like, again, I'm not saying terrible shit didn't happen, blah blah blah. I'm saying like liberal ideologies are the ones that are oppressing black Americans, right? It's not the ideologies of conservatives, okay? And they want to label the KKK as a far right fucking hate group, and it's predominantly hateful of black people. But the KKK was made by Democrats. It was made by the Democrat Party, right? But they just throw the KKK over on the right because the KKK are fucking ultra nationalists, right? But supremacy doesn't exist on just the right. It exists on the right and the left. So because they believe in America, right, and they support America and they're a bunch of fucking inbred hillbilly fucks, right, they want to claim that they're far right. But they were actually created by the Democrat Party.
Why we enforce such a strong love for black people, enforce using the word nigga, making it righteous, enforce everything that they said was bad just to show how good it is. So that's why we created the Real Nigga University.
So after this, you might see a new school, RCU.
Real Caucasians?
Real Cracker University.
I wouldn't be surprised. Y'all steal everything.
It's not a black and white thing. It's a Jacob and Esau thing.
The brothers.
Yes, exactly.
Wait a second. So our great grandparents are the same, right? Something like that. Jacob, Esau, and then the separation.
If you go even further back before that, because of Noah, you understand Shem, Ham, and Japheth were all related, but the Lord put the difference between them, just like He did between Jacob and Esau. So what matters is when the Lord decides to separate a people and create a nation.
As a non-Israelite, all I care about right now is whether or not white people can avoid being either enslaved or killed on Judgment Day. I headed to their top secret headquarters after an extensive security screening to ask Captain Tazariak what a white man can do to pay pay the price for his father's sins.
You see these images, bro? Who the fuck put their kid in that and thought it was a good idea? To put chains around your child's hands, put them in a form of a stockade? Who the fuck? This is liberal ideology in the United States. This is what leftists do. Who the fuck thinks that's okay? And then to put a shirt on that says "so sorry." What did your kid do? Sure, you're a piece of shit, and clearly you have to be a piece of shit to do this to your kid. So yeah, there's probably some shit you need to atone for. But what the fuck did your kid do? Right? This is insanity. It is a fucking hive mind virus. Holy shit.
Real quick,
I'd be like, go on down the road, you fuck.
if you want to support our boots on the ground independent journalism that is not bought and paid for by corporate interests, along with exclusive DLC content that YouTube won't let me upload, and uncensored early access to all my videos before they go up on YouTube, go subscribe at patreon.com/Tyler Oliveira for less than $5 a month. Captain, we're in the HQ. Who do we have beneath me right now? You're stepping on him.
This is Caesar Borgia. That's who they say Jesus Christ is. So when you come in, you actually step on the white man. They made him to replace the greatest man. So that image right there, that would be a biblical depiction of Christ. When it says hair was white, and the texture was woolly, the skin is bronze, so even the garment being green.
The skin is bronze. And we all know what bronze is, right? It's tanned skin, right? I mean, bronze obviously isn't tanned skin, but the color of bronze is tanned skin, right? And I just want y'all to know that the Caucasus Mountains right there over near Iran and Turkey and stuff like that, right? People around that region are the Caucasian people, which are people that are lighter, are whiter, right? And these are the people who inhabit the Middle East and the Mediterranean and stuff like that up until the Arab conquest of Saudi Arabia and the spread of Islam throughout that region, right?
But this is not Jesus. This is the book I'm talking about. So this is called the Russian Icons. And when you open it, these are the original artwork and imagery of Christ and the disciples.
How do we know this?
So this is artwork that they found in Europe and Russia in what they call the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages was a
Dude, listen at what he says the Dark Ages are.
time when black people ruled Europe. And so as we rule Europe, we're giving out the truth. So when the white man come out them caves and they start coming in power, the Renaissance era was like a rebirth or a whitewashing.
The Dark Ages are the period immediately following the what is it, like the Bronze Age collapse or whatever, where there was so much famine and disease in such a huge percentage of global population died in such a relatively short period of time that they then refer to the era after the fact as the Dark Ages, because humanity regressed back more into like tribal states and stuff like that. That's what the Dark Ages are. The Dark Ages have nothing to do with race.
You can even find a black image of Mary in the Roman Catholic Church. And so what's beautiful about this is this not written by us. See how this image is black? They redo the image and then make it white.
That image doesn't look black.
Us. See how this image is black? They redo the image and then make it white. So you'll notice you see the flags all throughout the school.
Yeah.
And notice, like, I'm not like, oh, Jesus wasn't black, he was white. I'm telling y'all just exactly what most likely was and is, right? That Jesus was Caucasian. He wasn't Northern European white. He had bronzed skin. And you can only get bronze skin if you are lighter and receive a tan.
So each flag represents each tribe and the symbol that's synonymous with that tribe. The swords, we're very
like Jesus was tan. Let's just say that.
militant. You know, we're not Christians. We'll whoop your ass if necessary. So we fight.
Well, you guys were training earlier, right?
Yeah,
Hand-to-hand
Christ
combat.
Christ said in the Bible to sell what you have and go purchase a sword. So Christ didn't.
So Christ is a man of blood and steel.
Yeah, Christ whooped ass in the church. I say this all the time. Christ beat people in the temple. Christ wasn't somebody that was a soft and sissy guy. He just did the job that God said, where God said, you're going to be the sacrifice to redeem Israel. So he did take the death, but he was a...
Hey, you see this little camera behind him? That's a Vivitar. That's a Vivitar camera.
about warfare.
Are you guys labeled as a terrorist organization?
I know we're a hate group. We're labeled as a hate group. I believe, like, I've had Homeland Security come to my house before, so I think
What did they say?
They said, matter of fact, we might be terrorists because when he came to my house, it was a white guy. He comes, he knocks on the door, and he was like, you know, he got reports that, no, we're terrorists. I got terrorist threats and stuff like that. And so they sit and talk with us, and then he left and said, we're not that. So I think at the surface level, we are labeled as a terrorist and a hate group. The only thing that a white person could give me is their life. Like, if I'm being...
Kill themselves?
Yeah, there you go. I'm glad you said it. Whatever you give me would just be a token.
Like the deferential bow?
Yeah, like the bow, the boot kiss. All of that is tokens. When true vengeance is you not existing, because as the longer you exist, the more I'm oppressed.
When you see like a white baby, are you like, God, I wish you were aborted?
When I see a white baby, I'll be like, he's gonna try to enslave my people when he gets older.
Do you think racism is a good thing?
I think it's a natural thing for ethnicities to stick to their own. What becomes unnatural is when one ethnicity wants to rule over another one, and then another one. That's the white man. The white man ain't content with just having his own.
So is there a time God wants you to take up arms and fight the white man and reclaim power?
Jeremiah 16:16 says, behold, I was sent for many fishers, and you're fishmen, which is the time that we're in right now. Okay. So the fishing is like going out and teaching, doing interviews like this to provoke people to have questions, to spark an interest about us. And then he says, there's a time I'll send for hunters, and we will hunt men. So God dictates the time when we take this off. Like, there'll come a time where God gonna say, take this off.
And come after guys like me.
Yeah, we might not be doing an interview that day, Tyler.
And you're being serious, right?
I'm dead ass.
You're ready to kill some white dudes.
I'm ready to do whatever God says.
Right now, this is the fishing phase. You're going to recruit some more Israelites. You're going to help them recognize their true origins. Mm-hmm. But one day, you're going to take up your preferred weapon.
That's right.
And I may end up on the side of that.
If the Lord chooses so fit.
I feel like you're about to tear up on me. Nah. You're going to like me a little bit. When did you realize you were an Israelite?
Bro, I would hear rappers talk about being Israelites, entertainers saying it. I never took it serious. 2009 is, I guess, when I started realizing that this might be true. And so the more I studied it, the more it just became...
The reason rappers and stuff started talking about being Israelites is because Judaism was the only Abrahamic faith for quite a long time, and it spread throughout the Middle East and Africa.
Became undeniable proof that not only was I Israelite, but that all of us Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians was Israelites. And once I got turned on to it, it was just no turning back. A question for black people is like, who are we? If you ask black people who they are, they're gonna tell you they everything. It's not gonna be a true identity. They might say I'm African, they might say I'm Methodist, Christian, I'm Baptist, I'm Jehovah's Witness, I'm Muslim, anything but who they are. And so part of the reason is, of course, slavery did a great damage to us. You couldn't read, you couldn't write. Whatever language you had was taken away, whatever culture, your way of life. So we don't have that. As I'm reading all of this in the Bible, I was mad as at my mama. My grandfather was a pastor. I'm mad at them because it's like, how do y'all have these records, but nobody is giving us the truth? So now I'm throwing out everything that Christianity had to offer.
What age was this?
So I contact ISUBK. They tell me that they teaching in Philadelphia, and I pray to the Most High, if this is the truth, give me a sign. And when I got down there and I come around that corner and General Haas telling that white man, he said, no, you gonna kiss everybody boot. And that white man got on his knees and kissed everybody boot. I said, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where God told me to be.
So you want to segregate, right? We want whites.
Not so much segregate. I want my community to look just as good as yours.
Why isn't that possible? What's holding you back?
You guys. The urban neighborhoods
That's the
is
same, bro.
specifically targeted by your community, white America, where you let other nations come in and flourish with their businesses in our community. The CIA that you mentioned with the drug oppression, putting drugs into our community. Even Planned Parenthood coming in where they want to either euthanize or get us to abort our babies.
Ah, there y'all go, right? There y'all go. Literally highlighting more liberal ideologies and policies for black communities by the Democrat Party. And you got to understand, these are his motivations for joining an extremist fucking group that literally hates white people. And he is still somehow blaming conservatives, even though it's clearly the fault of liberal ideologies and policies, right? Like, gentrification. Gentrification is because liberals wanted to uplift black communities. So they bring in all these other fucking really wealthy businesses or people and stuff like that to gentrify a neighborhood, and then basically it just kicks black people out of the area. Okay, that's all it does. Right? He's literally just highlighting Democrat ideologies as to why his people are oppressed.
So it's not just a white person being in the community.
Right now in 2025, I would argue black people have the same opportunity to do anything. Would you agree?
Can you show me where we have the same opportunity?
Everywhere.
Give me some examples. Sir.
I think you get the same job. You don't think so?
Nah, I don't think so.
Tell me why.
So what was the point of DEI? Why was that
to establish a quota to include people that in the workforce, right?
Right. White women have benefited more from that than.
Wow. Again. So it's a weird, this dude especially, he has a weird level of truth and dishonesty, right? Or like actual fucking things and like craziness, right? White women are the ones who have benefited the most from DEI. That is fact.
We have in 2025. In 2025, I just don't see how we're any different than 1965. When the immigrants came over here early, so like if Jewish immigrants come over here, the jobs that they would get would be corporate jobs, nurse jobs. For us, since we've been in here, they want you to get a UPS type of job, Burger King type of job. They tell you have a limit to where you can go. So we're at a disadvantage where you guys had like a 400 or 500 year head start.
Conservatives are not running around. Conservatives are not running around telling black people that you got to stay at a fast food job or some shit like that. I just want to point this one out for y'all, okay? And if this man is claiming that black people are the original Jews, right, and they are part of the lost tribes of Israel, that would mean that they have millennia of a head start on white civilization, right? That's the truth of the matter. So you either admit that you're wrong talking about some kind of fucking head start. 400, 500 years? The United States has been around for less than 250. Okay? The United States has been around for less than 250. So that's just the fact of the matter. Yes, there was slavery, and yes, it's been a few generations before, but let's not act like all white people were benefiting off of the backs of all black people. That's not the case whatsoever. Like, a majority of white people start off in the exact same position as black people, right? In this country today. Like that's just the truth of the matter. There are poor white people. There are homeless white people. There are fucking white people who won't ever be good enough to not work a fast food job, like to get a job higher than fast food or something like that. The reason that the other Jews that were sent to this country were giving corporate jobs and shit like that is because of the ostracization of Jews across Europe, where they literally, like, handling money was considered to be below the other people. So because they hated the Jews, right? This is why the Jews still have like, Jewish people still have such a huge like, demographic representation in the banking system, right? Is because for a long time that was considered filthy, right? So people treated Jews as if they were filthy and gave them the filthy jobs, which just so happen to correspond to jobs that aren't considered filthy in the United States. So they were given those fucking jobs.
So you don't even have a black community. You have a mixture that black people live in. So when you go up to your corner, like if we go out here to Harlem, you're gonna see Cohen's, you're gonna see Dunkin' Donuts, you're gonna see CVS, you're gonna see all different stores.
Yep, and you see all this trash on the ground that none of these people were picking up because they don't care about their own community. Can we point that out? And I'm not blaming them. It's not just them, right? It's like there's trash everywhere, but Americans just in general don't fucking care. They're like, society's falling into squalor and they don't fucking care about cleaning up their community. All they care about is bitching to somebody else about why isn't their community up to this standard, right? So like when you're complaining about like why white people have this community and it's clean, that's because a majority of the time that community of white people are a bunch of old fucking wealthy socialists who then believe in taxing people more money to then take that money and spend it on fucking services that clean up the area, right? But you can't do that because the leftist socialists who believe in taxing people more money are taking more money from predominantly lower income people to then fund shit for their own means.
In the Bible, the rich are supposed to take care of the poor take care of the rich. That's how you create an internal ecosystem. And with all these rich, wealthy black people, if they created that type of ecosystem, which wouldn't cost as much as...
Damn, there you go. This dude is now calling out the wealthy black community because wealthy black Americans do not fund stuff for black Americans. They do not spread around their wealth to help uplift the people they claim are their people. They just want white people to spread their wealth. Like, this is what I'm saying. This man is intelligent, but he's confused. He's intelligent, but he's confused as fuck. Right?
they think it is, then we could actually fix the community. So although we're highly represented in the NFL, the NBA, but when they get their money, it's about them.
A lot of people think you guys are like, these guys are the crazy guys who are speaking on the streets. They speak nonsense, it's craziness. But everything you're saying about building up your community, sticking together, makes a lot of sense.
Right.
I think where people get turned off and get offended is when, let's say a white guy like me, you're like, I'm gonna enslave you. We got a whip right here, and I imagine that's not for you guys, right? That's for me. Right?
Yeah, that's for you.
Can we take a look at this?
Let me put it, yeah, don't touch it. Take a look at it, though. It's right here.
So we got a whip right here. Tell me, when is Judgment Day, and what will happen to everyone that is not Black, Hispanic, or Native American?
That's up to the Lord. Christ said, no man knoweth the day nor the hour. So although I have this whip that you can't touch, it's just something we carry as a symbol of what's coming, like the coming judgment, just like the swords that we have. But when that judgment is, that's up to the Lord. When they say they killed Osama bin Laden, the media coverage, white people was in the streets shouting for joy, saying that I can finally be at
Americans were in the streets shouting for joy.
peace because Osama bin Laden is dead.
We're your Osama bin Laden.
Not so much your our Osama bin Laden, but your destruction will finally be able to rest. When that judgment comes, we're going to wake up in the morning like, I don't even know what to do with myself because my brain don't have to think about oppression no more. It's just rest. When Hitler got killed, Jewish people felt that same exact way. The only people that have never had that feeling is Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. The slavery remains in our DNA, even at a subconscious level. There was something I had talked about. They did this study, it was called Mice in a Cherry Tree. So they take these mice, they take this cherry tree, the mice like the cherry tree. They put this metal grate right before the cherry tree. When they go to the cherry tree, it shocks the shit out of them. Not enough to kill them, but enough to cause pain. So as they keep going to that cherry tree and they keep getting shocked, they stop going to the cherry tree. Those mice have children. They remove the shock. The children that the mice have don't go to the cherry tree. Although they like the smell and they like the cherry tree, they have the memory of the shock that comes with that cherry tree, so they don't go near it. They stay away from it. It's mentally, genetically been passed down. They had to take those mice and mate them generationally with 7 other mice that never had any memory of that tree in order for them to go to that tree, even though it's not there. And that's black people. We don't have the physical chains on us no more, but the mental that you guys have done to us is why we come across as a hate group. That's how
That's
the
what they
perception.
say.
But then when
You guys
people
are
come,
chill. I mean,
exactly.
I know you want me to die one day, but
Right.
you're chill.
When you actually have, that's funny. This is a good, decent white guy. He knows it's coming and said, I'm chill anyway. So we're genetically passing down curses that keep us inferior. Whereas if we genetically pass down things that make us super.
So again, you see his intelligence. You see his intelligence, man. It's such a shame this guy is fucking insane and a radical, because he's actually extremely intelligent, right? Because what he's hinting at right here is he's talking about how generation after generation, liberal Americans, right, leftists, Democrats, right, and also unfortunately black Americans keep telling themselves they're nothing. They're nothing. They can't do anything. They can't do anything. White man's going to keep them down, right? And he's making a reference to how memory is coded into genetics, right? And they're starting to actually realize this with they've been starting to do studies, right? Because no shit, right? Like that's kind of what happens is it would have to be your memories get coded into genetics and get passed down and also like this also has to do with like a learning system, right? An education system is like that's memories being passed down of what is right and what is wrong or accepted or not accepted or something like that. But there is some form of genetic mutation that occurs, right? Because of memory, because there is something in the environment that stimulates your body in either a positive or negative way, and you remember it and your genes will eventually adapt to it. And this is what's happening, unfortunately, to black Americans in this country because of Democrats, right? Because for so long, they've been telling black people that they are being kept down, they're being oppressed, that they're nothing and they can't be anything without the help of Democrats and stuff like that. And now they fucking believe it. And this dude has pointed out multiple times in this interview, right? Talking about like how after civil rights, right, which is correlative with the fact of liberalism rising up in this country, and then black people started voting Democrat and stuff like that, and then the decline of black Americans, right? It's because y'all are living in a system where the people who claim to be helping you are constantly the ones who are keeping you down and teaching you to keep yourselves down. And people on the right, that's why we say we don't care that you're black, man. Just if you're just like us, you go out, you do a hard day's work, you fucking earn your fucking pennies because we're all getting fucked by the federal government through taxes and stuff like that, right? And we have respect for you. And that's why we don't play the victim card or anything like that, because the more you play the victim card, the more you will continuously, forever, indefinitely, permanently be the fucking victim class, right? And you claim you don't want to be the victim class, right? But you keep playing the fucking card and you're tricking yourselves into believing that you're victims when you're not, right? Like, it's funny because you see it bubble up in the black community, right? They use it as like very prideful statements of like inventions that black people have made or things that black people have done. And it's like, yeah, you're pointing out your success, that you are capable of success. You were apparently capable of more success in a time of slavery than you were in a time post-slavery and post-civil rights. And what did you get with post-slavery and post-civil rights? You had the rise of liberalism and a very strong Democrat Party that then took you in as a brainwashed fucking minority group of the party. And then year after year, black people have been voting Democrat, and then they say, why is life worse for us in this country today than it was before civil rights? Well, look at who the fuck you're voting for. It's Democrats, right? So it's insane to see actually how like educated this man is, but how politically indoctrinated he is, and it's really undermining his education.
Superior, we wouldn't have that thought process.
Why not take the brothers to the land of Israel and reclaim your birthright?
I visited Israel back in 2017, and as good as it was, I hated it because I felt like I was abandoning all the brothers and sisters that couldn't be there. It's almost like an escape route.
When you go to Israel and you speak with the so-called Jews, what do they have to say about what you tell them about the real Jews?
I get different answers. Some vehemently fight back. Some will say, you know, they were black at that time, as if you could change from being black.
As in, there were black Jews, right? There were black Jews because Judaism was a predominant religion throughout the region, right? And guess what? Right below Egypt, the country where Jews were enslaved before fleeing Egypt to cross the Red Sea, according to religion, right, is a country called Sudan, and it is inhabited by black Africans and has historically always been inhabited by black Africans. Or sorry, it's not Sudan, right? It's Ethiopia. Or hold up, let's see. Am I mixing up my countries? I don't know. Nope. Yeah, Sudan, right below fucking Egypt. I was right. Get out, boy. Okay, and then right, you want to know something else, guys? Right, in the country of Egypt, right up here. This region of Sudan and Egypt was inhabited by a certain group of people called the Nubians. And in southern Egypt, which they call upper Egypt, right? Southern Egypt is actually, there are still black people there, and they are the descendants of the old Nubian kingdom, right? Egypt borders Israel, right? There's Egypt at the top of Africa, then there's Egypt of the Sinai Peninsula, and then there's Israel, right? And at one point in time, the Jews were enslaved in Egypt. So yes, of course there were black Jews, but that does not mean that it was only black Jews. Holy shit, right? And again, I'm not trying to shut down a race group or something like that, or say they can or they can't or whatever. I'm just trying to give y'all information about the situation so I can show like why this dude is educated but indoctrinated. It's fucking insane.
Black.
And eventually, all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans may one day realize they are Israelites.
If they smart.
But you believe this stuff, right?
All of it.
Okay.
Y'all live differently. Y'all think differently. Y'all live with the sword. We don't. What I mean by live,
Violence?
y'all ain't at peace with nobody till after y'all destroy him.
You think that's genetic?
Yes, because the native Indians who are Israelites tried to be peaceable with y'all. So we tried to go the peace route with y'all, and then y'all unalived us for it. Even right now, black people are trying to be at peace with y'all, and y'all still slap them in the face. Trump is slapping the shit out of black people right now, and black people still got hope in America. It's two things we can't do. We can't let other nations be
Obviously,
a part
I
of
disagree
us,
with
and
that.
then homosexuals.
You have a brother who comes in here, he says, I like a little dick here and there. What do you say to him?
He got to stop that.
He says, I'll stop tomorrow. Can I join?
He can say he'll stop tomorrow, but we would monitor him to see if he's sincere about it. Now, we would monitor him just like we would monitor a cokehead, because any Israelite can repent. Like, God is stronger than homosexuality, so that man can conquer being a homosexual. If you're a homosexual and you want to stop being a homosexual, doesn't mean you have to have sex with a woman. It just means you can't have sex with a man.
People may not agree with what you're saying, but man, this honesty is refreshing.
Yeah, one thing you ain't gonna call me is a liar.
What are some misconceptions you would like to clarify for some brothers out there who may be on the fence, joining the organization?
Okay, so what I would first say, we're not a hate group, we're a love group. The brothers that we need to bring in here, they're a hate group. They hate their own brothers. When they go outside, they sell drugs to their own brothers. They sleep with their brothers' wives.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? He's bringing up issues that exist within the black community that, sure, you can say like CIA instigated these issues through introducing drugs to these communities, but they have forever been perpetuated by black Americans. And there's a lot of other behaviors that are occurring between black Americans that cause life to be rough for black Americans. And he's literally outlining that right now. Right? He's literally outlining it right now. He is saying that they are a hate group. They hate everybody else, but they love themselves. But what he's saying right now is that he believes Black Americans are actually a hate group towards Black Americans because of the behavior that they commit towards one another.
We're the reverse of hate. We're the opposite of hate. What we teach is for brothers to stop selling drugs. And we don't hate a people. We hate what they've done. We don't hate white people. God hates white people. He created them to be hated. When it comes to if white people never did anything to us, we wouldn't hate them. So we're not an extremist group. We don't promote violence. All that training that you saw Captain Akkad doing with these men is about self-defense. We don't want nobody to go out there and harm nobody, but we also don't want you to be a sucker. You have every right to defend yourself, and there's a tactful way to do it.
What can the average white person watching do to repent in your eyes, to be good with you?
You can go to isubk.com, click the tithes and donations link, and empty your bank account. Either that or death.
So either give us all your money or kill yourself?
Yes.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
your time.
No problem.
All right. So that's basically what I wanted to cover in my reaction about it, man, because that's like, so this is what I'm saying, right? This is why it's hard for me to believe, right? It's not hard for me to believe that there was racism, or that there still is remnants of racism, or that there was slavery, right? Or that there was unforeseen consequences of slavery. No shit, right? That's all accurate, okay? What I'm saying is in 2025, to think that the United States hasn't tried to make reparations in multiple different fucking capacities for slavery, or try to pick up the differences or something like that, right? It is fucking insane. It's fucking insane. The United States government actively fucking targets white supremacist groups, but not any other supremacist group. We would not be like, how can you be a racist country, and how could the system be racist if the government, which is the system, is actively persecuting and prosecuting white supremacist groups, but not black supremacist groups? Do you see what I'm saying? Right? So it's like that look, I'm not downplaying slavery or what like the bad actions of other people, right? At all. That's not my intent here. My intent is I want to paint a better picture of the reality of how the United States exists, especially today. Right? Because teaching people, like, you should be educated on slavery, but you should not be teaching people that slavery was everything or that it was unique to white people. It absolutely fucking was not. Right? And if we want to sit down and have a reasonable conversation about, yes, there was slavery, right? And that's a thing that happened. We acknowledge that, but we can't apologize for that because we didn't fucking do it. We didn't fucking do it. And you have no right to take money or resources or opportunity from people in 2025 to give to other people in 2025 over something that happened hundreds of years ago. Right? Or even reparations for civil rights. The reparations for civil rights were the civil rights. Right? Like, you don't get the civil right, like the civil rights and then all of these other benefits, right? Just like women who got the right to vote don't get all of these benefits. Like, they fought for the right to vote and they got the right to vote. Black people fought for civil rights and got civil rights, right? You don't tack on more after the fact, right? You don't come to a conclusion. You don't say, hey, we have this problem. Here's the solution. Then get the solution. And then go, well, actually, we now want more. Right? So that's what I'm saying. You know, and it could be perceived whatever the fucking way you want to perceive it, but whatever way you're probably perceiving it isn't actually how I'm fucking intending it to be meant, right? Like, I don't care that you're black. I don't care that you're a Jew. I don't care that you're Asian. I don't care that you're native, right? I've had friends of all different fucking backgrounds, right? All different sexualities, all different kinds of fucking crazy shit. I don't care. As long as you're a good person, I don't fucking care, right? But to live in a world where you're like this group is a fucking concern. This group and the KKK should be ostracized, right? Antifa should be ostracized. They are all hate groups. They are all extremist groups, and they should be targeted by the federal government and dismantled, right? Like all of them. I agree, all of them. But that's all I have to say for now on this.